welcome back. Guess what? We're back together again. We are in New York. So actually, I can officially say live from New York. This is not an episode of SNL though. So we have, Rob has been hanging out here in New York City, going to some baseball games and just kind of hanging out here while our daughter and I drove from Chattanooga all the way across the country to Los Angeles and got her moved into her new apartment there. And I actually just arrived fresh last night into New York, straight from LA. And you could probably see the bags under my eyes, but I got quite a bit of jet lag going on today. My body has absolutely no idea what time it is, but hopefully, I did take some melatonin, and hopefully I'll start to feel a little bit less jet laggy by the end of this part of the trip.
I'm sure you'll be fine. And I rode from Washington, D.C. to New York City on the Northeast Regional train on Amtrak, which was great. It was our first time, well, no, actually, we were on the Cardinal.
Oh, yes.
But it was our first time riding into New York City, so I got to see the new Moynihan train hall, which is beautiful.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we're going to walk over there in a few days and take some video and get that, because we're going on the Acela.
Show you guys around.
Yeah, so we're excited to be back together after getting our daughter situated, and now we're back on a regular schedule, and now we're really getting into the meat of the Amtrak rides that we have scheduled for the summer. So hello everybody. Thank you. Yes, Brian, we're going to talk a little bit right now about traditional dining, which is coming back. That is the exciting news that we have for everyone today. If you look on the Amtrak website, this is something someone showed us, a little tip you can do to find out when it's coming back, hopefully. And you try to book a ticket on a cross-country route like the Empire Builder or the California Zephyr. And when you try to book that ticket, you put in dates for the future, and under the services, it'll either say flexible dining or traditional dining. So that's how you can tell when each train is going to get the traditional dining back. So you don't have to do that work, because I did it last night just to see if we were going to have any. So I'm going to give a quick update of when each train is supposed to be getting traditional dining back according to the Amtrak website. So the first two are going to be the Coast Starlight and the California Zephyr, which the Amtrak website says is June 23rd. Okay. So only a couple weeks away on those. Shortly after that is the Southwest Chief, which says June 26th. And then after that, the Texas Eagle, which says July 1st. And then the Empire Builder on July 2nd.
Awesome.
So,
and you said the California Zephyr?
Yep, yes. June 23rd. Okay.
Cool.
So we are going to be on the Southwest Chief at the first week of July. So we will be trying out this new traditional dining, and we'll give you all a video of what it is, what the food looks like, what your options are. But those are the first dates that you can get the traditional dining, and it's so excited. And that's one of the most asked questions we get, isn't it?
It is. And this will actually be our very first time doing the traditional dining, because the entire time we've been riding all these Amtrak trains, it has been the flexible dining. So this will be a really cool experience for us too. And of course, we're going to bring you guys along with us to check that out as well, like Rob said.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So a couple questions came in. We'll get those before we talk about any more dining stuff. Brian's asking, recommend train from NOLA to LA? Yes, we do. We rode that one last year. That'll be either the Sunset Limited or the Texas Eagle, depending on your day. What'd you think about
where you get on? Yeah, I loved that train ride, actually. It's going through the entire south and southwest. It gets really cool when you get into the southwest part. We rode it to Tucson, but it does go all the way to LA, Los Angeles.
Melinda's asking, have you tried the new dining car since it started? No, we have not. I don't think it started anywhere yet, but it will be at the end of June, and we are going to be on one first week of July, and so we will be bringing you a video all about that, so that's going to be great. Eastern traveling trains are not doing the dining yet, asked Pat. Yeah, from what we could tell, it's just going to be the cross-country routes. Not like I didn't see anything for like the Lakeshore Limited or the, the Capital or the City of New Orleans, that kind of stuff. Just the long ones, except for the Coast Starlight. I don't really consider that cross-country, but it was on there. So
Yes.
At least half of my trip in July will have traditional dining. Flexible in the Crescent, traditional in the Sunset. Can't wait. That's really exciting, Michael. We're kind of in the same boat. We were hoping to get it on like the Lakeshore
Most
Limited.
of them, yeah.
But we have quite a few trips, and we're only getting it on one.
We do, yeah. We have so many Amtrak train rides, and literally just on one.
But the thing is, we're going to be on the East Coast.
Yes.
Basically the whole time.
Yes.
And that's not really an area where it's coming back quickly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll just have to see, how quickly it may come to other places, or if they just stick with the cafe. But we're super excited to do the traditional dining because it's the most asked question, something that we have never done, because it's been a couple of years since you could do that. And we're just excited to try that.
Yeah, and really from everything that we've heard, it's a really amazing experience. So that's, I know why we're so excited to try it out, is to have this traditional dining experience on the train, going cross country. So that'll be pretty exciting for us.
Yeah, and if you're just joining, just wanted to recap real quick. It's coming back end of June, beginning of July, depending on your train, starting with the cross country routes. If you have any other questions about Amtrak, feel free to ask them in this chat. We try to do this chat once a week if we're not in a real bad travel situation, like on a plane. But we know that we can't get to all of your questions, comments, and we get a lot of emails too that we don't get to all of them. So this is the easiest and best way to get a question answered, or if you just have a question about your route, this is a good place to do it.
Tyrell says, how are we doing? We're doing good.
Doing really good.
Except that I'm battling jet lag from, I just got in last night from LA, if you missed it. I had been moving our daughter across the country, so my body has absolutely no idea what time it is.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I've been in New York for 10 days. And I've just been going to Yankees games and minor league games and all kinds of stuff.
So basically living your dream.
Yeah, living the dream. So, does Amtrak charge more if you are traveling alone in a roomette? In a nutshell, my question is, do I pay for two or for one? I think you kind of pay for 1.5 because let's say it's $600 for one, it might be $900 for two. You don't get exactly half price, but you're not paying the full price that two people would pay.
Right.
That makes sense. So I think you're not. That's kind of the way it always is, because you're not paying for like the meals for the second person,
right?
But you are paying for the room,
for the space, for using the space,
for two people's space, but you're not paying for their actual ticket ride either.
Yes.
So,
and let's see, someone was asking about if it's still cashless, and it is, and I think it might be here a little bit more long-term than originally planned. We've noticed that in several stations now, they are testing a way of being able to purchase debit cards with your cash. So we noticed this in Washington, D.C. When we arrived at the Union Station there. They have like an ATM-looking type machine. They have one to the left and to the right of where you check in there. And you just go up to the machine, you put in your cash, and to purchase the card is actually free. It just converts it into a debit card for you. So that's going to be a really nice offering. They're just testing it in a few stations right now. So it's only going to be in the major ones like DC and LA and Chicago and a few other ones in there. But keep an eye out for those machines. They're going to be right next to the machines where you check in for yourself.
And Cody's got a question. He's planning a trip. Ooh, that's a big trip. All the way from Richmond to California, and then on the Coast Starlight, California Zephyr, Sunset Limited and the Crescent.
Ooh.
Any tips for that? We did almost that exact trip. And
Yes.
yeah, so my tips would be definitely use the observation cars as much as possible because those routes, they almost all have one. And I don't know if you didn't say if you're going to be in a roomette or in coach, but even if you're in coach, use the observation car. That's one of the big things people don't realize is observation cars are open to everyone and they're generally not crowded unless you're going to like a really scenic area, right?
Correct.
Any other
Yes,
tips
they
you have for
usually
those
are
routes?
not. No, I think as far as those, and just depending again on if you're in a roomette or in coach, just make sure to bring snacks with you, and maybe like a refillable water bottle if you're going to be in coach. If you're in a roomette, you get unlimited water and soft drinks when you're in your roomette.
Yeah, and check those schedules to see if you have traditional or flexible dining.
And Zach asked about the cashless, if it's cashless, if you can still tip in cash. We do still tip in cash. That's not a problem. They just can't exchange cash for purchases on the train. But we have been giving them cash for their tip because there's not really any other way to do it.
Most people don't care, so they're happy to take cash. Thank you, Sarah and Earl, for your comments. And Wilder One made the live chat. All right, that's awesome. Yeah, we're trying to do it a little more regularly, 4 o'clock Eastern, if we can do it. So, bummer about the Empire Builder being on a later date dining, but thank you for the info. Good to know either way. Yeah, we're going to be on the Empire Builder too, and it said flexible for our date. So, that was a bummer. Because we've tried all the flexible meals. And
I know. We actually have tried every single meal on the flexible plan.
And I don't mind them, but we wanted to try the other one.
We're ready to have traditional dining.
So, thank you, My Color TV. We're the go-to for them on YouTube.
Ooh,
that's great.
Thanks.
Where are you off to next, says Gigi on the go.
Ooh, we're off to Boston. We're headed to Boston in a couple of days, correct? Yes. Because it's on my list of my last 7 states to visit to complete my 50 states. Massachusetts is on that list, so why not go to Boston? So we're going to ride the Acela actually into Boston from here, from New York.
Yeah, and the bummer though is she needs to go to Vermont, and the Vermonter is not going, so...
That's okay, we have a solution.
So we have to rent a car we're riding the Downeaster up to Maine, renting a car and driving into Vermont. Which was a little problematic too because car rentals are like
we're hard, yes,
hard to
yes.
find.
We actually, thankfully, the car rental company called me. The car rental company in Maine called me to confirm my rental, so that's actually a really good thing. Know that they're probably going to hold my car.
Yeah. Hopefully. They need to hold that reservation. Cody says he's going to be in a roomette the whole time on his trip that we were talking about earlier.
Yes. Oh, so then you're set.
So, yeah, you're all set. But still
Awesome.
use the observation car because you could get a little claustrophobic in there for that
definitely.
amount of time.
Definitely.
And just eat in the dining car, as much as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sarah, yes, I'm excited to be in Boston. I've heard lots of great things about it. We actually even considered moving there one time.
We did.
A long time ago, like 20 years ago.
We just decided we're going to move somewhere, and we just decided Boston or Tampa. And
Tampa won.
Yeah, we picked Tampa for some
Sorry,
reason.
Boston. But we'll go visit you.
And we're going to see Fenway Park.
Yes, we got tickets.
For the first time.
Although we're not Red Sox fans.
Well, yeah, we're Braves fans.
But we want to go
from
see
Atlanta.
we want to go see the Green Monster. It's on the list.
So that I only have 7 parks left to go. That's one of them, and excited about that. Klaus just did the city of New Orleans from New Orleans to Chicago and back.
Ooh.
Coach going up, roomette coming back, and he was on the train when the station in Mississippi caught on fire.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah,
that must have been a little bit scary.
Yeah, I bet that was interesting.
Oh my goodness, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, and I wonder what you thought about the difference between coach and roomette on the city of New Orleans. Did you which one did you prefer if you had to do it again? Some people really like coach, and some people really like roomettes. I was just on. This is another question we've been getting a lot lately. and we're going to answer it even better later this year.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the difference between business, first class, and coach? And the answer is it depends, because I was just I got business class on the Northeast Regional thinking this is going to be some amazing experience. And literally, it was just a coach car with the word business on the side of it. There was no difference whatsoever from any coach class I've ever been on. The only difference was it was full of business people. And I wasn't. So I was like looking around, and everybody was like doing conference calls and on their phone. And yeah, so I don't know how much extra I paid to be in business. It wasn't much. It was like,
yeah, the difference is not usually very big between
it was
those
like
two.
$20, I think. And I thought, well, I'll try it because maybe it'll be cool. And it wasn't. So I think there are some, though, that are cool. But this Northeast Regional was not one of those. And I probably would have just done coach if I knew that it was going to be like that.
Yeah, right, Sarah.
Yeah. So Jacqueline says car rental has gotten extremely expensive. Yes, it has.
It has.
Vermont is on a bucket list. Want to visit Stowe. Yeah, we're going to try to drive all around there. Going coach from Sandusky to New York City in 3 weeks. Sandusky, Ohio. Yeah, I've been there many times. Cedar Point. I used to live in Michigan. So 4 seniors. So when do you think we'll need to book to get the discounts? We're going next May, and we'll be leaving from Washington, D.C. and transferring in Chicago to Vegas. Okay, so next May, you have over a year. Well, you have a little less than a year. You could wait a little bit and see if there's going to be a sale, like a 2-for-1, since there's 4 of you. It would really work out well to get the BOGO. I would wait a little bit, but don't wait too long, because then you might miss out on the lower prices. So that's a tough call. And thank you so much, Melinda, for
thank you.
the super chat.
Sending you live hugs.
Thank you for doing the live streams. I enjoy them every time.
Yay.
Thank you so much. We really do appreciate that, and it does help us out. So yeah, if you have 4 seniors going, I would, at this point, if it was me personally booking, I would wait and see if they run another sale. Depending on if you're trying to get roomettes or coach, they may do a sale for both.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't wait more than 6 months before you're going to go.
Right.
Then I'd just probably start to book, because then the price could go up.
Right.
Christy says, how is the lounge and cafe car?
The lounge car is fantastic. If you have that on your train, use it. It's usually a very nice, calm, quiet place. You can even go there to enjoy your meal, whether you're in coach or in a roomette, because they do have tables there, or you can just sit there quietly and enjoy the scenery. And the cafe car, that's just opening. Well, the service has always been there, but as far as sitting in the cafe, is going to be opening back up. So that's going to be a good experience too, kind of like the lounge car experience, to just kind of sit there and enjoy the scenery and enjoy your snack or your food or whatever. But those are both great places, because it kind of gives you, especially if you're in a longer train ride, it does give you kind of some place to go other than if you're in coach, just your seat, or even if you're in a roomette, you do kind of, get tired of just sitting in there. It's someplace else to go on the train.
Yeah. So before we answer the next question, which I forgot what I was going to tell everybody.
Ooh, that's
which
right.
Was that,
this is what he's been busy doing while I was away.
Yeah, while she was away, I decided I was going to make the Amtrak map that everybody wants, which is their map, but with instead of everything being red, all the different routes are different colors. So you can see exactly where each route starts and stops. So that's on our website now, groundedlifetravel.com. And there's all kinds of maps on there that shows you all the connections. So I don't know if I can show this on the live stream, but I'm going to try to.
I'll show you. Oh, yeah. You can kind of see it.
Yeah, so.
Sort of.
You can kind of see it. So if you want to see those maps, that's what we use to plan our trips. And it's so helpful, because if if you don't know where one route starts or stops, you don't know where you can go. So
Right.
go to groundoflifetravel.com and you can get that. Yeah, I've been drawing maps on my tablet, so
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing.
Hey, it was a labor of love, but it's
It was.
a great work, and it really is something that I think
Yeah.
is really needed, is to know where you can overlap, where you can get off to get on, in which direction. You did a good job. Nice job.
Thank you. Yeah, I hadn't done Photoshop for a little bit, so I thought I better do it. Because that's what I've done for a living for many years, and I've taken some time off. So
Yeah.
Earl's asking, I have a grandmother that wants to travel on a train, but she cannot walk very far. Does Amtrak offer help to handicap riders? Yes.
They do. Now there are some stations that are not staffed. As long as the station is staffed, they will help. They do have ramps that they attach to the train, or I've also seen where they have the little lift carts as well, where if it's like a wheelchair, they wheel it on and then lift it so that it's to the same height as the train. Or if it's low enough, and the train is low enough, and they just have like a ramp where you can roll up into it if you have either a walker or mobility issues, or for a wheelchair or something like that. But I've seen them do it, and they are extremely helpful, and they do take very good care of them.
Yeah, I would say of all the modes of travel I've done, Amtrak staff is the most helpful towards elderly people,
Definitely.
people with mobility issues. Actually, on the Northeast Regional that I was just on, I saw them carry someone up the stairs, which I thought was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that is impressive. Wow.
Because, and that's the other thing, is some of the trains have higher step clearances, and some of them have really low. So we're going to have a blog coming out about that soon, about which trains you would want to get on to if you have mobility issues, which would be better. Okay, so DLR Tube says Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati is a great park. Yeah, I was just there a couple years ago, and I did enjoy that one.
And he actually has a really cool picture from
Yeah,
there.
took a good picture.
Yeah.
I try to get a panoramic picture of every stadium, and I have a couple really good ones. Cincinnati is one of them. Thanks so much for your great videos. If you were picking a train line for the best stops, which would you pick? Thinking of picking a line and spending 2 to 3 weeks getting off at a few stops. Ooh, that is cool. I would say, okay, so that's different than the most scenic.
The
most scenic is definitely the California Zephyr, but it's not somewhere that you're going to get off and spend time. So for the best stops, if you like the cities, like the big cities, we're actually doing that right now, just doing the Acela. And we went from DC to New York, and now we're going to Boston. And so you could also do Philadelphia. So if you just want to do the East Coast big cities, you could do it with the Acela. Or you could do, I think the Coast Starlight would be good, because you could do
yes,
LA,
that's true.
San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle, and throw in some national parks.
Yes.
So I would say for
I
like
like
a
that.
2 to 3 week stop, Acela on the East Coast, or Coast Starlight on the West Coast. Yeah.
Yes, I like it. I think those are good choices.
Yes, I think so too.
Acela. Got it.
Acela. Yes. Yeah, I have a hard time saying that. Was that someone saying I was pronouncing it wrong? I probably was. Let's see.
I pronounce stuff odd all the time. I'm fluent in Spanish also, so sometimes it comes out in what I think is Spanish and what I think it would sound like in Spanish, and sometimes it comes out in what I think it's English. Things get a little bit jumbled up in my brain.
I lost a lot of questions here, but I'm trying to find them.
Okay.
Any guidelines on tipping? You want to go over that real quick? While I find the other
Yes.
questions?
For tipping for dining, we usually do about $5 per day per person on that one. And basically, no matter how many meals, because we don't always have all of our meals there in the dining room. Sometimes we just go and pick it up and bring it to our room. And then if we do it in the, if for the room attendant, we tip $5 per person per day, or per day that you're in your room at. So it just depends on if you're in, if you're tipping the room attendant or the dining car attendant.
I'm laughing because LM is saying it's Nolans and not New Orleans, which is true. And we've lived in the South.
I think only people that are from there pronounce it right.
We've lived in Atlanta for like 20 years, and no, I still
we
don't.
still don't sound
talk
like
Southern.
we still don't sound like
I
we're
still
from
sound
Atlanta.
like I'm from Michigan, which I am. So, Alameda says they're getting roomettes for each person. That was the people looking to book a year from now.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I would look for the buy one get one free roomette sale. If you need more info on the buy one get one free sale, we have all the details on our website, groundandlifetravel.com. There's no way to know when they're gonna do it. They'll just do the buy one get one free sale, and then you'll have 10 days to book. So if you're gonna book and you want to get the buy one get one free sale, and you have a group of people, you kind of all have to agree on what you want to do, and then kind of just be like waiting. And then once they put it out there, you pounce on it. So that's what we do. When it's been a little while since a sale, we make a plan, and then the day they make that sale announcement, then we just book it. So that's the best thing to do in that scenario. And then the next question people say is, well, how do I know about the sale? You sign up for Amtrak guest rewards on their website, and they will email you.
And yes, they do have buy one get one free on the sleeper car accommodations. So definitely keep an eye out for those because it is a superb deal.
Does Amtrak stop in Cleveland, Ohio? I heard they don't, but will again soon. I think they do. I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
So I think they are. Hello from Fort Worth, Texas. First time catching it live. Hello,
Hey.
Susan. Is it a good idea to bring a phone mount for watching entertainment in coach? Well, you have a table, like on an airplane, but it's even bigger. So however you want to do it.
It's wider. Because your seats are wider.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do have, and there are you also have an outlet as well, next to your seat.
Yeah. So Doris is saying her issue is OCD with the sleeping accommodations. I think there was maybe another part to that question that I missed, but we found it pretty good. Allie likes things pretty clean too. I'm the messier one. I'll sleep anywhere.
I mean, I have my own little like antibacterial spray. I use that. They seem to be already very clean, and things are pre-bagged for you, like your blanket and your pillow and things like that. But we bring our own little pillows. Actually, you can see them right here. Those two, we bring those with us. We always travel with those. But I think you'll find it's very suitable.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Unless you're like Howie Mandel.
The last 10 days, it was like my room got dirtier and dirtier, and then I realized Allie wasn't with me, so now it's clean again. She's here. She likes it really clean.
I like it very clean.
I tend not to notice that it gets dirty.
Until he can no longer walk around the room.
Okay, how can I find out my train's name? That would be a good way. Well, you can find it out on the Amtrak website. It's kind of hard to do. But if you know where you're going, you can go to our website and look at the maps, and it'll tell you, it's all color-coded, what the name of each train is. So groundandlifetravel.com and click on the maps. You'll know exactly what train you're on and which ones you could get to from there.
And somebody, let's see, DTLR Tube was talking about the challenges with the app and how when you put in where you want to go beginning and end, it says no trains available.
Yeah.
Well, the problem there is, and that's actually why Rob created this map, is because the problem is that if there isn't a direct way to do it, then it tells you there's no way to get there when there actually is.
Right.
So you have to actually, that's again when this map comes into assistance. If you look at where those segments go, then you can piece them together and put in, I'd like to go from here to here, and then on this train from here to there, and on this train from there to there. So that map is actually going to come in very handy for whatever trip it is that you're planning. Head over to groundedlifetravel.com and pull up that map, the full map that he just finished up, and that's actually going to be a huge help for you in planning your trip using the app.
Yeah, because one of the things that I noticed is that Amtrak doesn't like to have you have a layover of more than like 10 hours. So if there's going to be like a 12-hour layover, they just will say that the connection doesn't exist. So some of our things, like today, we're laying over for 4 days, so I don't care how long the layover is, but I want to know if I can go from one place to the other. So being able to book those tickets separately, like instead of booking a ticket where you stop each way, you're booking 3 individual tickets. And if you have the map that shows where you can go, then you can do that a lot easier.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
Yeah, I see. A sailor. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I can catch the Coast Starlight in Emeryville, right? Says Jacqueline. Yes, you can.
You can.
You can, and you
And that's a really small station, so you don't have to arrive super duper early. It is staffed, but there's not a lot going on there. So just know you don't have to get there super duper early.
Yeah, a couple of people asking, they got on late, when it's coming back, traditional dining. So end of June, first week of July, depending on your train. And it's mostly going to be the cross country routes. Thinking of taking a train to Sacramento, California from Chicago. How safe for single female travelers, and which route would you suggest? I want my own room, says Terry.
Okay, so going from where? From Sacramento to Chicago?
Chicago to Sacramento.
Okay, so this would be, which train would you take for that?
I'll look up the train. I get Sacramento confused.
Sacramento, can you get
talk
on?
about single female
but
travelers.
if just traveling on your own, and especially if you're going to be in a roomette, did not have any issues. I did see several ladies traveling on their own when we've been in roomettes. Real nice. The attendants have been great with them. They didn't seem to have any issues whatsoever. Seemed to really be enjoying themselves. We'd run into them in the dining room or in the hallways or whatever, or at breaks where we could get off the train and just move our legs a little bit. But it's really a good, safe environment, especially if you're in a roomette. Solo traveling for females is not an issue on Amtrak.
And that is the California Zephyr.
Yes.
That's the best route.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Of all the routes, it's one of the best routes in the world, actually. Probably the best easily the best in the USA, I think. Apart from in Colorado is amazing. We have a couple of videos on the YouTube channel of just the scenery.
Yes.
And that's good.
Definitely.
So do they ever have a buy one get one sale on just the sleeping cars? So
yes, they do. And usually it's 1 to 2 times a year, but that's not like a hard and fast rule. Sometimes it's just once a year. So just really keep an eye out for that. We highly recommend enrolling yourself in the Amtrak Guest Rewards program, and make sure that you click the box that says you want to be notified by email of any specials or anything like that, and they will email you, and you'll be first on the list. When that sale comes out, you'll find out, because they will send you multiple emails, and they'll actually email you also right before the sale is about to go away, to make sure that you've booked something in, if you haven't already. So that's a great kind of tip for finding out when they're going to do the BOGO. But yes, they do have them on the sleeper car.
Okay, Michelle says, I'm going to do Atlanta to New Orleans next week. What's the best transportation to use to get to our hotel once we get to New Orleans? That's a good question. We can answer that. We did that exactly.
We did that.
So yeah, they're going to drop you off in New Orleans at the transportation center. It's not going to be super close, probably to where your hotel is. If you're in the French Quarter, even a little further away. We just used Uber when we were there, and that was really easy. You could also, there were taxis right outside.
Yes, yes. Depending on the time of the day, you'll see lots or few taxis. But if you walk out to the main road, if they're not right there at the station, if you walk out towards the main part of the road, if you don't see taxis there and you don't want to use Uber, or you don't, just walk out and you can hail a cab out there as well.
And it's not expensive. It's like $10 to get to the hotel area.
Yeah.
The time that we were there.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, coming back to the train station, we could not get an Uber, so we ended up having to walk with our bags. That was fun.
That was unfun.
She wasn't very happy about it.
I didn't think it was anywhere near as fun of an adventure as Rob thought, but we did. It was about a mile, which the walking part was not the big deal. It's just that it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I had already put makeup on and brushed my hair all pretty, and then we went out and walked for a mile, and I sweat, and it was
Yeah, it was
got to the train station,
warm.
and I looked like I got run over by a bus.
So if you want to see the after effects of that, if you look up the Sunset Limited video, probably the beginning of that video was right after we walked the mile.
So that's how come in that video I looked like I got run over by a bus.
And I was like really sweaty.
And Rob was very red.
Yeah. So, let's see. Sandy says, for my 80th birthday,
Okay.
I'm traveling from Syracuse, New York, to Martinez, California,
Whoa.
aboard the California Zephyr to visit my son. Wow, that's an amazing trip. Have been watching all your videos, and I'm so excited.
Yay,
That's
we're
awesome.
excited for you, Sandy. That's going to be an awesome trip.
Heidi says, thank you for your videos. Thank you, Heidi. How are the handicap accommodations on the East Coast trains, such as Virginia to South Carolina? We have only been on the handicap rooms on the auto train. I think they are pretty similar, but we haven't stayed in one, but we're going to try to get someone to let us in them. Because we get
so
that
we can
question
show
a
you
lot.
guys what that looks like. Mhm.
Yeah, so we weren't gonna book one because we don't want to take it away
We don't want
from
to take
someone.
it from someone who needs it.
But if it's ever open, we're just gonna try to
See, we can shoot some footage inside one of them so we can show you what it
pop
looks like.
in. Please tell me a good cross country route for the most scenic trip and return. Also, which side is the best for viewing? I would do California Zephyr. And on the California Zephyr, probably the south side of the train. Secondly, I would do Coast Starlight, which is right up on the California coast. And I would do the west coast, obviously. You can see the water. Nobody sits on the east coast on the
east side, yeah.
on the Coast Starlight. Now I'll have to fly from Oakland. Oops, the thing jumped on me. Okay, what's the difference between the Carolinian and the Crescent train, says Gigi. That's a good question. So the Crescent train goes all the way to New Orleans, and the Carolinian does not go as far south. But if you're riding it further up the East Coast, there's no difference. So if you're going from like North Carolina to New York or anywhere in there, they're the same route. So the only difference would be the time of day that the train would go. And you see that a lot on the East Coast. Like if you go from New York to
Right.
where, like Washington,
Sure, yes.
you might have 10 different trains you can choose. So
Lots of more options on times, yes.
Yeah, so you just pick the one that meets your time.
Right.
And maybe there's a little price difference. Yeah, but not much usually. So, have you ever experienced traditional dining? We have not yet, but we're about to. In July. Nancy asks, want to visit family in Ohio? I'm in California. Trip out to Ohio, 3 weeks. Visit, trip back to California. California Zephyr both ways, or that'd be the easiest thing to do. Depending on where you are in California, though, you could take the Texas Eagle back. I'd probably take one way and one the other, depending on where you are in California.
If you're close to LA, that would make sense. Oh, Bakersfield. She's in
Bakersfield. Oh, yeah, that's pretty close to LA.
Yeah, that's not far.
I mean, relatively speaking. But you could take the train from Bakersfield. It'd be easier to do the Zephyr. Yeah, because you could take the train. You'd have to drive to LA or take the Coast Starlight down. Yeah, if you look at the map, we have a map for the West Coast, and you can kind of see your connection choices. But the Zephyr would probably be the easiest, connected with the San Joaquins, which is the route that goes right to Bakersfield. So look into that for sure. First overnight train travel. Any recommendations? What would you say for a first trip?
First trip? Well, it depends on if you're on the East Coast or the West Coast. If you are on the East, well, let's start with the West. If you're on the West Coast and you're just looking to go up and down, north, south, north, I would do the Coast Starlight. If you're on the East Coast, what would you say? Maybe the Crescent, maybe? Goes all the way up and down. Goes a little bit farther.
There's no observation car on
That's
that,
true. That's true.
Yeah, for a first experience, I'd pick one with an observation car.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a list of all those on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Just you can search observation car, and I would definitely pick one of those because it makes the experience. Don't you think?
Yes,
better?
I think so. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are the doors between Superliner cars only upstairs? I think so.
Between the cars, yes.
Yeah, because on the bottom lower level of the Superliner cars is where the
It's
the
like
family bedroom and then the accessible bedroom are on one end. So you can't walk
so those
through,
are blocked off.
you can't walk through those, no. Hoping to do Spokane to Chicago in December. Traditional dining coming back makes a huge difference in my planning. Yes, by December, it definitely should be, and you'll be on the Empire Builder, so yeah, you're good. That would definitely work. First trip recommendation for a Southerner, please. So that's kind of where we were at, and I don't know where you're coming from, but from the South, it's a little. I would just try to get to New Orleans, and then from New Orleans, take the Sunset Limited. That's probably the best one. Yeah.
Or you could, you could take the city of New Orleans train
To Chicago. Yeah. If you want to go to Chicago or out to the West Coast.
Yes,
But
it gives you a couple different options.
the best kind of hub in the South is New Orleans, though. Is the Empire Builder from Chicago to Portland, Oregon a nice scenic trip? What do you think about that?
Chicago to Oregon. Oh, on the Empire Builder. Oh, yes, definitely. We were actually so surprised at how scenic it was on the Empire Builder, because that's not one that a lot of people talk about as being a scenic route. But we rode the Empire Builder from Seattle to Chicago, and really, when you take off you leave in Seattle, not long after you leave, you are looking at Puget Sound, and the departure time is close to sunset time as well, and it was beautiful to see that. And not just that, you get to ride through Big Sky Country, and you're on the southern tip as well of Glacier National Park, and there's just a lot to see. So it's surprisingly, yes, it's more scenic than I think people say.
Yeah, I was really surprised. So.
Yes, we were.
Michelle asked, does the Crescent have an observation car? And no, it does not, unfortunately. Well, maybe fortunately, I don't know. The Crescent is like 5 hours of trees looking out the window.
It's a lot of trees.
From Atlanta to New Orleans.
The tracks run like in the edge of the cities, and so it's a lot of trees.
Yeah, it was our first ever Amtrak route, and I was like trying to film out the window, and I was like, just trees.
We were like, this is a lot of trees. Thank you.
But it got better on
It
Sunset Limited when we got to. And coming into New Orleans is beautiful.
Ooh, yes, over Lake Pontchartrain.
But right before you get there, it's 5 hours of trees, for sure.
Yes.
Illa viewer Sean from the UK. All going well with international travel in September. Doing the Southwest Chief LA to Chicago with the Cardinal, Capital Limit, Empire Builder, and the Coast Starlight in coach. Wow.
Whoa, you're a rock star.
I wonder if he's got the, do you have the pass, like the Amtrak pass, where you can go ride a bunch of different...
The rail pass, yeah.
The rail pass, yeah. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
I wonder if Sean has the rail pass, but that's going to be amazing. My only advice to you is utilize the observation car. Almost all of those routes have them, and buy some food in the station.
Yeah, because you'll
might get tired of the
it.
cafe food.
Yeah.
Okay, Chill Mode says from Atlanta. Yeah, that's where we're from. So yeah, if I was starting in Atlanta, I would definitely go to New Orleans, because, and then from there go either up to Chicago or over to LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool trip that Sean is doing. Sean from the UK. He says the videos have provided inspiration for the visit. Thank you so
great.
much.
Yay.
Yeah, be sure to check out the one on the national parks, because you should
Yes.
Definitely stop into some of the national parks. You're going to be close to a lot of great parks.
Of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have lots of information on that on our website, groundedlifetravel.com, and we actually the national parks has a brand new app as well, which if you're visiting any of the parks you should download, because it is extremely helpful, and it actually gives you some like free walking tours and information and hike information. It's actually extremely helpful. They did a really nice job on the new app.
Yeah. Kel Relfan says the Empire Builder is very scenic.
Yes, we agree.
They say the best way is from Portland going eastbound to see the Columbia River Gorge. And eastern Montana is beautiful. So yeah, you do have two choices there.
That's true.
Portland and Seattle, you're going to see different things. Columbia River Gorge versus Puget Sound.
Yes, that's true.
If you go to Seattle.
Yes.
And they hook up in Spokane. And
split off.
Well, when we did it, it was in the middle of the night, right?
Correct.
You didn't even notice it.
Nope, I was asleep because it was after 10.
Yeah, I think I missed one here. What is priority boarding? I'm leaving from Chicago tomorrow, and they temporarily stopped priority boarding because of COVID. I'm going in a roomette, and I don't know how that will affect me. It probably won't affect you at all.
Yeah.
I don't know that priority boarding. I mean, if you're in a roomette, I think that is priority boarding. So you're going from Chicago? Yeah. So my advice to you would be go to the Metropolitan Lounge, check in there, and they will let you know when to go, and they will actually, when we checked in Chicago in a roomette, they just have someone that walks you right to your train, right to the door you actually get on. So
yes,
it kind of feels like
helpful.
Priority boarding. I don't know how much more they could do for you other than that.
Yes, and somebody asked about the dining. If you don't want to eat in the dining car, you can, your attendant will actually bring your meal to your roomette to you if you prefer to eat there. Or even if you wanted to eat in the observation car, if you have that on your train, you can eat in the observation car as well. Just let your attendant know that you don't want to eat in the dining car, that you want to eat someplace else, and they will bring that food to you wherever you request.
WX Crumb says they cannot wait for their regular dining. Thoughts on the Cardinal? The Cardinal, I love the train trip, but I would check to make sure if you want to do the traditional dining on the Cardinal that it is actually back. Because when I looked on the site, it was not one of the ones that was coming back quickly. Those are going to be the more east-west coast routes. So definitely check to make sure you're getting what you want and you're not getting flexible dining if that's important to you. But overall, the Cardinal was great, and it hits so many major great cities.
Yes, it does. It's actually a really nice train ride.
Yeah, looks like a lot of people here in North Carolina. Maurice says your videos are a great source of information. Thank you, Maurice.
It jumped up. There we go.
Denora asked something about real food coming back to Amtrak. Yes.
Yes.
In the next 3 weeks or so.
Yes, coming back very, very soon. So yay, this month it starts.
Susan asked, can you put train trips on layaway like you can a cruise?
I've never heard of that before. So I don't think so.
I don't think you can. I don't think I've ever seen a way to like partially
I've never seen that option.
I mean, about the only thing you could do is if you put it on your card, I guess you could pay it off a month later. But which we do have the Amtrak card now, so we're gonna do a video about that one day. Marlene is saying the National Art Park app is very useful. Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Will there be carry out from the dining car if you still want to eat in your room or bedroom? You just answered that.
Yes,
right?
I just answered that one.
I'll be traveling round trip New Orleans to Alexandria via the Crescent and roomette. Any tips on what to eat on the flex dining menu? Okay, so we both have an opinion on this. So I'll let her go first. What do you want to eat on the flexible dining menu? On
the flexible dining menu, I like I really liked the enchiladas. It's a vegetarian dish, and it's actually very good. That's probably my favorite. And I'll just pick the one. I'll let you pick yours.
You can pick two.
I can pick two? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Then the other one that I like is the rice and andouille sausage.
Yeah, I like it when
That
she
was
gets
really
that
good.
one because she gives me a little bit of sausage.
Because he eats the sausage.
I like sausage.
I eat mostly the rice. The
But-
rice and the shrimp. It does have shrimp in it too. So I
Yeah.
usually eat the rice and the shrimp, and he eats the sausage. So he likes it when I get that one.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it when I get the vegetarian dish.
I like the pasta and meatballs, so I get that most of the time.
And by most, he means every lunch and dinner.
Well, I tried them all once, and then
Mm-hmm.
after that, I just get the pasta and meatballs every time because I like that one. But then for dessert, they also do on the flexible. They do like a brownie, a blondie brownie. They always have that. It seems like some trains have cookies.
And some have sugar-free vanilla
Yeah.
pudding, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So they did have a few different
But what's the
options, but
best-
not all the trains had all four of those. Every train had the blondie brownie and the regular brownie, but only some of the trains had the cookie
Yeah.
and the vanilla pudding, the sugar-free
So
vanilla
which
pudding.
one? Which dessert?
Oh, I think the blondie, hands down, is my favorite.
I think the regular brownie is the best. So, but you got to be careful because they'll just give you those brownies. Like one day,
They will.
I was like, I ended up in my room. I was like, I'll just take this back. So I'm not gonna eat it all. I ended up with like 4 brownies in the upper bunk up there.
Yeah, because they give them to you for lunch and for dinner, so it's okay to say no sometimes to the brownies.
Yeah, it feels like you need to take it because it's like free.
You feel bad, but
You don't have
you
to
really
take it.
should just say no, because if you're not going to eat it,
Yeah, I ended up with a lot of brownies.
we ended up giving them away, so we wouldn't waste them.
So, is it your bucket list item to ride every Amtrak train route for you two?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we would like.
And we've done quite a. By the time this summer is over, we'll have ridden more than half of the train
Yeah.
routes on Amtrak. So we're super excited to keep riding and to do them all.
Yeah, we really have 4 bucket list items for the United States, which is all 50 states, all the Major League Baseball stadiums, all the national parks, and all of the Amtrak trains.
Ta-da!
The hardest one is going to be the national parks because there's some really crazy ones.
We're up to
About half, right?
Almost 40, right?
Yeah, maybe
Yes, I
over
just
half.
went through the app again and put them all in just to make sure. And by the national parks, we mean like the ones that actually say national park
In the name,
in the name. So we're talking about 63.
something like that.
I have the list on my phone, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But yes, we've done more than half of the national parks.
And she's going to do the 50 states.
That should be done
within the next 2 weeks.
Yes, that should be done in the next couple of weeks.
And the ballparks will be a while, but the national parks will be a really long while. And I think the Amtrak trains might get done before those.
Yes, I
well,
think so.
Probably not before the ballparks.
Or before the 50 states. So
Yeah.
it might be the third of the fourth.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a good question. We got to have some kind of bucket list.
That was a
because-
lot more detail than you asked for.
Yeah,
We apologize.
but we've been traveling outside the United States for a while, and because of this whole, thing that we're in, we've been in the United States. So we kind of added some of this stuff. So, let's see.
Sarah, thankfully we can offer you some laughs on Sundays.
Mark says, I hope that Zephyr and the Chief get things back. Yeah, they're going to be 2 of the first ones, I think.
Yes.
So excited about that.
Can you do the dates one more time for everybody who's listening on when the different traditional dining? Somebody's asking, so we'll give you the details
Yeah.
again. Do you have that info?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. So this was, someone told us if you go on the Amtrak website and you just punch in the dates for a trip in the future, like Empire Builder for July 10th, if you look at what amenities are available, you'll see that it'll either say traditional or flexible dining, and that's how you can know. So I looked at the dates for when each train, what it said. So the dates are, the first 2 to get it back are Coast Starlight and California Zephyr, which is June 23rd. The next one was the Southwest Chief, which is June 26th. The next was the Texas Eagle, which was July 1st. And then the next was the Empire Builder, which was July 2nd. And outside of that, they just said the East Coast trains, really there's no date.
Right.
Yeah?
Right. So that's all we have for now that we know Amtrak has put out.
Yeah. Gillig, bus operator, disappointed about the Crescent. Yeah, we were too. We're gonna be
Yeah.
on. We're mostly on East Coast trains
Yeah.
this summer, and looks like it's gonna be a lot of meatballs. and then Dewey sausage and brownies. So, hey, if you want to find out if the Amtrak meatball is a good diet, check back in a month because I will know. We'll see. In Chicago, is the station close to where the Bulls play? I don't think it is, unfortunately. Bradley, it is. The station is in the South Loop, and I think the Bulls play at the United Center, which I think is a little bit. I mean, it's probably a couple miles, but I don't think you can walk it. Molly wants to know how we started riding Amtrak.
Oh, how did we start riding Amtrak? Well, actually, Rob has wanted to ride, do train trips for, I think, almost our entire married life. And I get motion sick very easily, and so I about riding on the trains, and so we just kind of put it on the back burner. We had kids, didn't think about that, and then a few years ago we went to Europe, and the best way to get around to some of the places was to ride trains, so we did that. And I did very well, and I had absolutely no problems with motion sickness whatsoever. And so I was super excited, and Rob was even more excited. And he said, well, when we go back to the States, can we do Amtrak? And so I was like, yeah, I don't see any reason why not. So then we just started doing trips, and here we are.
Okay, I gotta throw a good dad joke in here from
Oh,
DLR
no.
Tube. Because my daughter, she loves or hates dad jokes. She's how old is she? 21?
She's 21.
Yeah, so she's prime
She's-
age for me to tell jokes.
Yes.
So he says when you eat on Amtrak, you have to chew chew. So I'll send that to her tonight and see what she says.
I kind of hate myself a little bit for
But
laughing at that
she's
joke, but
she'll send back when I do that. She'll send back just dad, dad,
just dad. No.
dad.
No.
Stop. No, stop. So, writing, David is taking a trip with Amtrak picked hotels, wants to know if they'll be good. Have not done that yet, but I'm sure they would be good.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll have any problem. That would, I'm sure that's a good way to go, because it's going to be probably the most easiest.
Easiest, they'll probably be close, or if they're not close, they will transport you there. So that's helpful.
If
Yeah.
anyone ever wants to know a good hotel that is not Amtrak picked, on the blog for each route, we list what hotels we've either stayed at or recommend that are close. So, have you done the Silver Star?
We
yet?
haven't done the Silver Star or the Silver Meteor. We haven't done either one of those yet.
No.
But don't you worry, it's on the list.
Okay, this is a good question here. Blue Sky asks, I booked the Zephyr to Chicago in October. All the videos are going east to west on YouTube. Will I see the Rockies during the daylight traveling west to east?
West to east.
And I think you will. You should see them because they kind of time that one so that it's good both ways. But it is true. Most people write it
It is true, yeah.
east to west.
Now
I
that
don't know
think
why
about
that
it.
is.
We did that.
You should see it going west to east. It actually probably have a better chance because the only way you don't see the beautiful view is if the train gets delayed anywhere. And so your time from the West Coast is less than
Right,
from
to
the East
get
Coast.
there, yes.
Yeah, so unless there's a delay or a snowfall or something, snow shouldn't bother it. But unless there's a delay because of that, you should be fine.
Yes.
Can you talk about how noisy it is to ride and its swaying? She gets motion sick, so.
Yes, you do feel some swaying. It's very mild. And like I mentioned earlier, I do get motion sick, and I didn't feel sick at all. The only time, and this only happened one time, I was seated in the wrong direction in the roomette. I sat in the wrong seat, so I was facing away from the direction we were traveling, and I started to get a little bit sick, and then realized it, switched seats with Rob, and I was perfectly fine. So you'll just be, seated going in the direction that the train is going in, and you'll be fine. So as far as that's concerned, the noise level, you're going to hear the train horn tooting as we travel along, but honestly I forgot about it. It just kind of it's kind of like riding in a plane, really the same level of noise, maybe a tiny bit more, but I didn't find it to be too challenging or too loud or uncomfortable to that level.
Yeah, the noise is good because it's kind of constant noise, so it kind of just drowns itself out.
Right, yes.
As opposed to like a sharp noise, it's going to wake you up.
Right, it doesn't just come out of nowhere.
Susan asks, have you ever ridden on the Rocky Mountaineer train through the Rockies? We haven't been on that.
We haven't, but we're thinking about doing that.
We've thought about it, yeah. So I think it's just starting. Like
It's
this
new.
summer, it's new for the first time because Americans can't go to Canada. So I think a lot of their customers were American, and so they made a trip here. So we've thought about it. Not sure if we're going to. Yeah. So DS asks, have you ever been to Seattle by train? Any tips?
And yes, we have, and we absolutely loved it. We went to Seattle from LA. We hopped on the Coast Starlight and took it all the way up to Seattle. Got off at King Street Station, walked right out to our hotel. It's right in Pioneer Square and actually right by the ball fields right there. So it's absolutely amazing area. It's so kind of cool, hip area to be in. You can walk to a ton of stuff, to shops, to restaurants, little cafes. There's lots to do in that area. If you're just walking, you can also get a taxi or an Uber very easily in that area to go anywhere in the city.
Yeah. Are the showers open at Chicago Union Station Lounge? I do not know, but I can tell you in a month. I don't know. We haven't.
We haven't been there in several months now.
Yeah. And we didn't look at them when we were there.
Yeah.
Because in Chicago, we generally get a hotel right in that area. Plus, our son lives in Chicago.
Yes.
The DTLR tube says people complain that it takes a long time to ride the train, but you get dropped off in cool cities. Saves you a lot of time. That's actually true. Yeah, I rode. This was interesting because I rode from DC to New York here where we are, and it dropped me off right at Penn Station in Moynihan.
Yeah, so you're right in the middle of the city.
It's like a 2-minute walk to your hotel. She flew in last night to JFK, and it was what?
It was a 50-minute ride, and it wasn't my favorite because I had a taxi driver who felt like maybe he had just gotten his license, maybe. Or maybe they're all like that, I don't know, but definitely not as nice as just arriving right in the middle of the city. Like you said, I think it's way better.
Gigi asks, have you ever considered a small group trip?
We have actually, and we've been looking into that. We actually have done that in the past and are looking at doing that in the future as well, because we've had so many people ask us that same question.
Yeah. So we've actually thought about doing it both here and overseas.
Abroad as well.
Yeah, we spend some of our time in Asia. So, any hope of Amtrak lifting the mask mandate anytime soon?
I have no idea.
But I doubt it. It didn't seem like.
It would be nice, but it is what it is.
I mean, it's going to be at least a couple months, I would say. And it depends on where you are and what train you're on. When we got in Charlottesville, they were very picky.
Very picky.
Like if you pulled it down, they were like, "Hey."
The guy, he was like watching everyone. It's like, I'm literally just trying to drink water.
It was his sole purpose to catch people not with their mask on. And then when I got on the train from DC to New York, the guy next to me didn't wear his mask the entire 3 hours. And no one cared. And nobody had him on. So it just depends who you're with. You'll see all different things, I'm guessing.
Yes.
I've got a trip planned to Arizona this fall. On the way out, we have a 5-hour layover in Chicago and a 3.5 hour on the way back. Is that enough time to allow for a late running train? I would think so.
I would lean towards yes, but
Um,
but that particular
yeah, that
one,
route. That's not the Empire Builder. The
Yeah.
one that's usually late is the Empire Builder.
Yeah.
And coming from Arizona, you're not on the Empire Builder, so I would say you're probably fine because when they're late, they can make up a little time. How hard to book a train ride? Asked Earl. Not hard. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So if you want tips on how to do it, we have a web page on our website that's just how to book an Amtrak trip.
And Rob walks you through all the steps on there, how to do that.
Screenshots and all
Yeah.
that. But it's not hard.
Yeah.
Because if
it's
you
not
ever
bad.
and if you ever get like, just you can't do it, you can just call them and
Yeah.
they'll do it. And even we see people all the time when we're at stations getting on train, walking into the station and just asking them to book it at the ticket counter.
Yeah, it's always
for a
surprising
future
to me.
train, for a future trip. Yeah.
Yeah, people walk in to book a train ride to, at another time. It's very interesting how many times we actually run across that.
Sarah and Chill Mode say they would love stuff to talk about, and we met a guy on the Empire Builder, I think maybe it was a Zephyr, and he put together group trips,
yes.
not Amtrak trips, but other trips, and he was telling us how great it was. So
Yeah.
let me see. We just booked a 14-day trip to 5 different states. I couldn't help but laugh when my mom was shocked that it was over $10,000. Yeah, it can. What we've noticed this summer, this is the most expensive summer for U.S. travel ever,
Yes,
and most crowded because
definitely.
everyone wants to travel and no one wants to leave the country, and all the travel things are trying to make up all the money they lost.
Exactly.
So it's pricey.
And Jordan wants to know if you can book a train the day of. You can. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. And there's also the possibility, as Rob mentioned, it is going to be a very active summer traveling here in the U.S. It could also be sold out. So I would not wait. As soon as you know that you're going and you know for sure, I would go ahead and book it as far in advance as you can. You're going to get a better price and you'll actually know that you're going to get on. But if you show up, especially on these popular cross-country routes and things like that, I would definitely not wait till the day of, but you can do it. And if there are seats available, you can do it. It'll just be it'll be more expensive for sure.
Quick one here. Can you still tip on the train? Yes, you can.
Yes, in cash.
Does a connecting bus wait if the train is late?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, we saw one waiting in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it waited. How late was
waited
that train?
several hours.
Yeah, I think it was late. Was it an hour and a half? Something like that. But the bus was there waiting the whole time. I mean, the
Yeah.
people were coming off the train and getting the late train and getting onto the bus. So
yeah,
yes.
because there was no one to ride the bus.
Right. It's just sitting there waiting.
So yeah, it's not like a bus that other people generally get on. Have you been in the new lounge in Moynihan Train Hall yet? Any thoughts?
No.
No.
But we
in
are
Moynihan.
going to, yes, we will be in that one, and we'll shoot a video in there as well and give you guys a tour of it. We will be there
In 2 days.
In 2 days, yes, this week. So
Yeah, we're in New York City right now. We are close to it, but we will be getting on, and we're going in the Metropolitan Lounge because we're going on the Acela. Acela. First class. Heard the lounge in Chicago is great, but is for sleeper passengers. Can coach passengers pay to use the lounge as well? Yes, I think you can.
You can pay for a day use pass.
And you can also get passes. Like I was in coach and I used a pass to get into the one in DC.
We got it from our Amtrak card that we have.
Yeah, so you can get those different ways. Will the Silver Star get a dining car with real meals? Good question. I think it will eventually, but it's not on the list to get
Yet.
soon.
But it could very well.
Don't count on it this month.
And Earl, as far as tipping, we tip at the end of the trip.
Yeah.
So before we get off, we tip the dining car attendant when we know it's the last meal that we're going to be having before we get off, and then we tip our room attendant on our way off the train. They're always at the door on the way out, so we just hand it to them on our way out.
Yeah, because it'll be the same dining car attendant the whole trip. So you can just do it at the end.
And obviously the same room attendant.
Yeah, it's not like they're not getting on and off. What are your favorite cities to visit, U.S. and abroad? You can answer that one.
Favorite
They're
U.S. cities?
U.S. and abroad.
Oh, okay. Well, U.S. cities, we do love to visit Chicago. We love Las Vegas, and it's not for the reason that people would think, right?
Yeah.
And we like Arizona too. The scenery in Arizona is beautiful.
What about abroad?
And then abroad, I would say we really love Bangkok. Have always enjoyed our time there. We've been many times. We're actually trying to get back there this fall. We'll see how that goes. And we also really enjoy Iceland as a whole.
Yeah.
Yes?
We loved Norway. We loved London. We had never been to London,
yes.
but we did like London.
Yes.
We didn't think we would, but we did love it.
All right, one more question. What do we have?
Let's see. I don't think I have one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's a good place to end it.
How about this? I'll just comment real quick to Wildflowers asked about salad choices. There are salads, but on the flex plan, they're not the greatest. I mean, it's a salad. It's a very basic salad. We're talking about iceberg lettuce and tomatoes. That's pretty much it. But in the traditional dining, I understand the salads are better. So we'll find out more on that very soon when traditional dining comes back, which is what we have been discussing today. Hopefully this has been very helpful for you guys. And we're so excited to be back together. after I was gone, getting our daughter moved into her place out in LA. And we're excited to finish off those 50 states. So guys, stay tuned. Keep an eye out here on YouTube, and we'll continue to do these live videos. We're really enjoying our little family that we're building here on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a like, and don't forget to visit our website, groundlifetravel.com. Bye, guys.
Bye.